This is Gemara in Gittin, Daf Gimel. As we pick it up on Gimel Amud Aleph, we are 8 lines from the top. The first word on the line is La Rei Navshei. Yesterday in the first year, we began by explaining the Shita of Rabbah. The Rabbah says the reason the Shliach Lahilacha, the Shliach that is bringing this get, has to say b'fanei nechtav u'b'fanei nechtam is why? Is in order to ensure that it is lishma. At the end of the day, we concluded that this is a din d'Rabbanan, and that is the reason why there is a credibility for one aid to say such. Asks the Gemara, so why did Rava hold you have to say because when you're bringing a get from Chutz La'aretz, the Shayarta, the caravans are not traveling. So now if the husband's going to be Ma'ir and say it's Mizuyaf, what do we have to be worried about? We have to be worried that we're not going to be able to be Mekayim to certify this get. And therefore the husband has to say, I saw it written, I saw it signed. So ask the Gemara the same kasha that we just asked in Rabbah, according to Rabbah, you should also need two shlichos, two eidim, like all other cases of kiyum shtaros. Anytime you want to certify that a get is kosher, you need two eidim to testify to the validity of the get. So asks the Gemara, why over here, if the reason of the eidim is to attest to the validity of the get, why is one eid enough according to Rava? Answers the Gemara, this should sound familiar. Eid echad ne'emar b'yisurin. It's eid echad, it's b'yisurin, so one eid is enough. Says the Gemara, Eimar damri nechlam b'yisurin is when gon chatichas avishal chelev zavishal shuman lo is chazek yisura is only when it's not is chazek. We don't know for sure there's iser. We're not sure. Is it kosher or not? That's when an echad has a credibility. But in our case, this chazaki surah deishes ish. In our case, we knew they were married, so there is a presumption of iser. Havi davar sheba erva. Therefore, it's a case of erva. It's a case of marriage. Vein davar sheba erva. Pachais mi beis. You should need two eidim. So why by us are we saying it's going to suffice according to Rava to have kiyam to certify the validity of this gap by saying v'nechta with one aid? Answers the Gemara about 15 lines down. First one in line is Pachas mi beis. Bedinu de b'kiyum sharis nami loy libai. Says the Gemara, really? When it comes to all cases of kiyum sharis, of certifying a get, you do not need two eidim. Kid Reish Lakish, like Reish Lakish taught us, Reish Lakish, eidim achatumim al ashtar, eidim that sign on a document, naase kimish enechku edusam bebezdin. Their signatures on themselves is in reality a kiyum. That once we have signatures on a document, we really should not need anything else. So why do we need eidim witnesses to certify a document? So the whole requirement to certify a document is a din d'Rabbanan. So here, b'sham iguna, in order to ensure that this woman can get divorced so that she could get remarried, we are mekel and we allow one get. So what? One aid. Once it's din d'Rabbanan, there's room to wiggle and say one aid is enough. Says the Gemara, hi kulo. This should sound familiar. Chomro, what do you mean a kula? This is a stringency. Why? If we would really require two eidim loisi balamar. The husband would not be able to ma'arer, he would not be able to call into question validity of the get and possibly get chadbo, and there's only one. Answers the Gemara the same answer that we finished with it yesterday. When the shliach has to give the get, he has to do it in front of 2 or 3 people. Therefore, the shliach is going to be precise, and it's not going to come to a situation of error. So at the end of the day, according to Rava, one shliach is enough to say v'nechtam. Rabba says of Lishma, Rava says because we need to have a certification of the get. According to both opinions, why does one suffice? because the whole reason why it's required in the first case is a din derabanan. And whether the din derabanan is because that we require midrabanan to certify it's lishma, according to Rabba, because maybe he found a get that was written for someone else, or whether the reason is kiyum shtaris, which is always a derabanan, therefore we're makel and we allow one aid to have a credibility in such a case. Continues the Gemara, 20 lines from the bottom. First one on the line is Virava, and the Gemara begins the classical case of, we'll call it the Gemara ping pong like we call Virava, my time Amar Karaba. Rava says the reason is because Kiyum Sharais, that what? There's no travel from Medina to Eretz Yisrael, so we have to be worried we're not able to certify the get. Why does he not hold of Rabba? Why is he not concerned of the reason of Lishma? Amr Lacha. Rava responds, Mika Tani b'fanei nechtav lishma. Fanei nechtam lishma. They're not certifying lishma at all. And if you remember, we pointed out from Rashi and Beis ben Beis, then in reality, it's all a trigger that he says b'fanei nechtav. Why? So Bezdin asks him, was it lishma? So Rava responds, that's not what he's actually saying. So that's why I disagree with Rabba. Rabba, how does Rabba respond? Bedino delesni achi. Says Rabba, really, he should have to say Bifanai nechtav lishma. Bifanai nechtam lishma. Elo. So why not? If we increase the words, if we require him to say so many words, he's going to come to cut off it. He's not going to say the whole thing. He's only going to say Bifanai nechtav or Bifanai nechtam. And because he left off a word, we're going to wait and say, wait, maybe it really wasn't lishma. So says the Gemara, so that's why it's enough to say Fanei Nechtav, and we'll ask him. Says Gemara, wait, but Hashanami Asla Migzeh. Why are we also nervous? He's going to mess it up and not say Fanei Nechtav properly. Answers the Gemara, Chada mitlas, it's a math game, guys. Chada mitarti, loy, guys. 1 out of 3 words you can mess up. 1 out of 2 is usually not going to be made such a mistake. So says the Gemara, that's why Rava doesn't hold of Rabba. Now we flip it and we throw the ball back. Rabba, my time Rabba. That's why Rava didn't hold of Rabba. Why doesn't Rabba hold of Rava of the reason of Rava of Kiyum Shtarais, that there's no travel between Chutz La'aretz and Eretz Yisrael? Amr Lacha, Rabba responds, Im Kain, if the whole reason is that we're certifying the validity of this get, Nistim B'fanei Nechtam V'sulai, he should just say B'fanei Nechtav, I saw it signed. B'fanei Nechtav, Lamali, why does he also have to say I saw it written? Shema Mina, says Rabba, B'inun Lishma. V'Rava, how does Rava counter? B'Denu D'Lesnei Achi, really says Rava, you should only have to say B'fanei Nechtam. Elo, what's the reason we require B'fanei Nechtav as well? Says Rava, you know the reason why we require you to say B'fanei Nechtav and B'fanei Nechtam? It's because we're worried that it's going to confuse this with a regular case of Kiyum Shtarais, Be'ed Echad, and they're going to think by other types of Kiyum Shtarais, it's going to be enough with one aid. So if we just said B'fanei Nechtam, we'll think it's a regular certification, and then we're going to come to learn, wait, just like he certified the get with 1/8, so 2 other times you can certify a document with 1/8. So we require them to say B'fanai Nechtav, so they don't make such an issue. V'Rabba, how does Rabba counter? Midami, says Rabba, has nothing to do with the regular case of Kiyum Shtaras, and we don't have to be worried. One's going to make a mistake. Ha-sam yadinan, ha-cha b'fanai. Ha-sam isha loy mehemna, ha-cha isha mehemna. Ha-sa bal davar loy mehemin, ha-cha bal davar mehemin. So Rabba responds that there's 3 differences between our case of certifying the get and a regular case of Kiyum Shtaras. Says Rabba, in the regular case of Kiyum Shtarais, you don't say the words, it was written in front of me. You say, Adinan, I know that these signatures are good. Rabba continues, and Rabba says, in a regular case of Kiyum Shtarais, a woman's not believed. And Rabba continues and says, regular case of Kiyum Shtarais, the Baal Davar, the person involved in the case, is not believed as well. Therefore says Rabba, we do not have to worry. You're going to come to confuse this with the regular case of Kiyum Shtarais. Let's say, says Rava, the shliach brings a get, and instead of saying B'fanei Nechtav, you know what he says? Yadinan, I know that it's kosher. Would he not be believed? The answer is he would. Therefore says Rava, we have to be concerned about such a case. So that's why Rava doesn't hold of Rava, Rava doesn't hold of Rabba. Says the Gemara, 2 lines to the bottom. Ula Rabba, according to Rabba, Damar Lefishein B'Kiyim Lishma. Man hai Tana Debai Ksiva Lishma. Ubai Chasima Lishma. Asks the Gemara, according to Rabba, that says that why do we have to say Farei Nechtam? Because they were not B'Kiyim Lishma. Because overseas, they do not necessarily know it has to be written for the husband and the wife. So who is the Tana of the Mishnah that says you need to have Ksiva Lishma, Ubai Chasima Lishma, and you need to have the signing of the document to be Lishma? So says the Gemara, before we delve into the answer, first comments of the Gemara that Rameir, if this is the opinion of Rameir, Ba'i, what does Rameir hold? Ba'i, Rameir Chasima Ba'i. According to Rameir, it's true that you need to have that the Chasima, that the writing is Lishma, but Ksiva Loi Ba'i. You don't need to have that the writing is Lishma. It's enough for the signing. Where do we see Rameir holds that? Gittin, this is one of the most fundamental machlaikisim when it comes to the writing of a get. Says the Mishnah from later on, Daf Chav Aleph, Ein kaisim imechaber lekarka. You're not allowed to write a get on something attached to the ground. Kasu al mechaber, you wrote it on something attached lekarka to the ground. Talshu, you ripped it off. Chasbu, you signed it, and you gave it to the woman. Kosher, it's going to be kosher. Why is it going to be kosher? Because Rameir says, because you signed it Lishma, and the signing of the Shema is going to be enough. So says the Gemara, so it can't be Rameir, Ksi only need a Chasima Lishma. Rav Eliezer Lazar, Ksiva Bai Chasima Leibai. All you need to have is the Ksiva Lishma, and not the Chasima Lishma. So says the Gemara, according to Rabbah, that holds that the reason you're saying Fanei Nechtam is why? Because people do not know that it needs to be Lishma, and therefore, both the ksiva and the chasima has to be lishma. Who is the Tana that holds that you need such a story? Who is the Tana that holds you need both the ksiva and the chasima? Meaning, who is the Tana of our Mishnah? Our Mishnah is saying you have to say Farei Nechtam, which according to Rabbah is to ensure that those two aspects were done lishma, the chasima and the ksiva. Says the Gemara, who is the opinion that holds you need both the writing and the signing lishma? Rameir says just the right signing is enough, and Rav Elazar says just the writing is enough. V'chi teima, says the Gemara 5 lines down, Gimel base. Maybe you'll suggest Rav Elazar. Really it's Rav Elazar. And v'chilai by Rav Elazar chasim lishma. When did Rav Elazar say that it's enough if you have the ksiva, the writing lishma, and you do not need the chasim lishma? Is midaraisa? Maybe that whole opinion of Rav Elazar is only a din daraisa, but midrabana and Rav Elazar is maskim that you need to have chasim lishma. Says the Gemara, v'hashloisha Gittin b'sulin. And if that would be the case, then we would be able to say that the Tana of our Mishnah is Rav Elazar, and on a Dirabanan level, you need to have the Ksiva and the Chasima, the writing and the signing to be Lishma. Says the Gemara, but we learned in the Mishnah of Gittin Pesulin Dirabanan, there are 3 cases of Gittin that are possible with Dirabanan, V'loibai, Rav Elazar, Chasima Lishma. And in those 3 cases, Rav Elazar does not require Chasima Lishma, even on a din derabanan. So we see that Rav Elazar takes his din all the way. Rav Elazar holds that the din one needs to be lishma, just the ksiva, as we found a case of shleisha gittin b'sulim. And in such a scenario, Rav Elazar did not require the chasima to be the signing to be lishma. Gittinan. Now the Gemara quotes the Mishnah that we're referring to. Gimel Gittin b'sulim. There are 3 cases of Gittin that are puzzle. But vim niseis avlad kosher. But if someone goes and remarries based on the get, a get that was puzzle, the lach is the vlad is kosher. What are the 3 cases because of biksav? Yadai, vein olav edim. If someone wrote a get with his own handwriting without edim, or yesh lav edim, there edim in b'izman, there was no time written in the get. Yesh b'izman, there was a time written in the get. Vein b'yal eidach, there's only one edim written in the get. Hare elu shleisha gittin besulim. These are 3 gittin that are puzzle. But if she got remarried with such a gevim, this is avlad kosher. Rav Elazar Aimer, 7 lines to the bottom of the Amin. Rav Elazar comments. Afal pi she'ein alav edim, even if there are no edim, elushen nasnu la bifnei edim, it's still going to be kosher v'goiva menachasim mishubadim. Why? She'ein edim chayis min ala get, says Rav Elazar, ela b'mnei tikkun ha'olam, but the signatures on a get are not intrinsic. Because Rav Elazar holds that the only thing that is intrinsic that needs to be the Shema is the Kasiva. And we see this is even on a Dirabanan level, as this Mishnah about Gimel Gittin Besulim is a Din Dirabanan. So says the Gemara, who is the Tan of our Mishnah? 4 lines from the bottom. Ve'elo Rameir he. We're forced to say, you know what the Tan of the Mishnah is? It must be Rameir. V'chiloi bayi Rameir. Ksiva l'Shema. And when did Rameir say that it's enough if the get was signed l'Shema? It does not have to be written l'Shema. Is midarai Raisa, but midrabanan, but on Din Dirabanan, on rabbinic level, Rameir holds that it does indeed have to be written l'shma. So we're concluding, and with this we're going to stop, that the Mishnah could right now be the sheet of Rav Meir. When does Rav Meir say that it's all about the chasima that's on a daraisa level, but on a darabana level, Rav Meir is masking that you need to have ksiva l'shma, and that's going to be the din of the Mishnah, according to Rabbah, that you need l'shma both on the fanei nechtav, the ksiva, and the fanei nechtam, the chasima. We'll pick it up from 2 lines to the bottom on Gimel Beis the next year. B'siyata Tishmayu.